Everybody, welcome to Chiller Night Live tonight. Hopefully everything is looking and sounding good. I hope it is, because we're going to have a fantastic hour between 8 p.m. to 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be talking about things, horror, science fiction, the paranormal. You picked a topic, and tonight, one of you did. Stephanie picked tonight's topic, best horror movies for sleepover night. So we will be covering that tonight, and we'll be doing that in just a bit. Let's see. Dominic says, hello, friends and ghouls. Hey, Dominic, thanks for joining us. My baby L. Ava Hoagie giving me some hearts, giving all of you some hearts, I'm sure. I have no doubt. Spreading the love to all. She's on Facebook. Most of you are on YouTube, I see. Stephanie says, hey, y'all. Hey, Stephanie. Patty says, hello, all. Hello, Patty. Thanks for joining us. All right. Hey, there's Bob Books. Hey, Hoagie, sounding good. Thanks, Bob. Sounds good to see you here. Good to see you. All right. D says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, D. Thanks for joining us. Al says, hey, everyone. Hey, Al, thanks for joining us. Brian says, hello, all. Hey, Brian. Appreciate you joining us. I'm going to try to get that chat looking a little better. One moment. I'm going to try something. This is always fun. Last week when I did this, I had the chat showing on the screen, and everything was just hunky-dory. Everything was just looking great, and just a good night for everyone. And right now, I'm seeing like this much of the chat. Which is, okay, well, this isn't going to work. All right, well, I was hoping it was going to be like it was last week, but now I can only read like one, pretty much like one chat at a time. But we're going to get through it. We're going to make this work. Paul says, hey there, family. How's everyone doing today? Mom and I are doing great. Great show last week. I hope we can top it. Hey, Ava, how are you feeling? Love you, sis. All right, Paul, thanks for joining us. D says, Slumber Party Massacre, The Killer Driller. Ah, there you go. Right out the gate. Right out the gate. D's got some good ones there. Bonehead says, hey, hello to the ChillerNight crew. Brian, Miss Ava, and Aliens. Hey, Bonehead, thanks for joining us. Glad to see you're up in the front seats, up in the front rows this week. Good to see you and hear from you. I'm going to try something else. Again. I wonder if I can get this setting to look a little different. Huh. Maybe not. That's all right though. That's all right. We're gonna get through this. Settings. Bear with me one moment. No, don't think that's gonna work either. That's all right. That's all right. We'll get through it just fine. So if I do happen to miss, because sometimes there's quite a bit of chat. So if I do happen to miss your chat, it's not intentional. I'm only seeing like through. Imagine watching a movie, but you're looking through a little. I can only see like one, maybe two at a time. This is not how I envision this evening to go on, but that's all right. Like I said, we're gonna be just fine. All things Dracula, Paul says. Oh, for the sleepover. Let's see. All right. So hey there, Chester's. How you guys doing? John says, while we were waiting for more winter or spring weather, we can enjoy the magic hour with our favorite group. It's Tuesday night and time again for Chiller Night Live. This is your unofficial introduction hype guy, Crozak the Grand. And now here he is, Bryan Hogue. Thank you very much, Crozak the Grand. Always appreciate that. Well, ain't that the truth, though? spring or winter, we don't know. Sunday I'm sitting out in the front porch in a t-shirt smoking a cigar, and Monday morning it's like 20 degrees and I've got layered coats on going to work. Yeah. What a strange time of the year this is. Dominic says, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a silly movie, but fun for sleepovers. Yeah, there you go. Joe says, hey, John, thanks for joining us. Mr. Lucasfilm is here. Yes, Mr. Lucasfilm is in the house. Welcome, John. Bonin says, that's okay, Brian. I never say anything remotely intelligent, interesting, or relevant. It's best to ignore me most of the time. But we want you in the front row participating as your usual self, so we just appreciate you being here. Stephanie says, hi, Paul, we're good. Bob Book says, best sleepover movie? For me, I always have to go with the great word slinger king himself, and I'll say Carrie, as it's a classic. Ah, the great word slinger king himself. Ah, Stephen King. Awesome. And D says, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Very cool, very cool. We were seeing some really cool movies here. And let's see, I'll get right back to that topic in just 2 shakes of a werewolf's tale. I will say, this week we lost a legend. Well, actually, last week, what, Friday was it? Chuck Norris! Chuck Norris, rest in peace, good sir. Passed away at the age of 86. So that was a sad one. Hate to see that. But yeah, I'm not sure what was the cause of death. He had just had a birthday, like days before this. He was working out, doing his workouts, always kept fit. 86, pretty long life, but lived most of it very healthy, I assume. So maybe something involving his workout. Maybe it just was too much for his body. I have no idea. It could have been just obviously a natural cause. I don't know. Has anybody heard what the cause of death for Chuck Norris is? And in good fashion, everybody was posting the Chuck Norrisisms on the day that he had passed away. So I can only imagine that Chuck and his loved ones did appreciate that. They were good. They were good. Let's see. Again, if I'm missing any comments, let me know, remind me, or tell me to scroll back up there, Brian. I can only see a little slot here. Stephanie says, anything old from Frankenstein to Halloween 1978 are always good for a slumber party. Manos, Hands of Fate, Patty says, oh, you just got to encourage him, don't you? Paul. John says, also another sleepover great movie is the 1985 Fright Night. Oh, yeah. Very good, very good. Stephanie's giving a little candle there for Chuck Norris. Bonin says, will do, Brian. I had a migraine headache for a week and a half. Next month I go to the VA to see what's wrong with me besides stupidity and be very annoying. Well, I hope it's a simple solution. Those migraines, wow, they can sure be tough. I don't get them, but I know people who have, and like not just occasionally. I've known some people who've had them ongoing throughout their adult lives, and boy, they can really be something. So hopefully yours is just a minor thing that can be quickly remedied. But I feel for you with having those migraines. I hear they're not good whatsoever. Paul says, thank you, Pats, for Manos, and Manos returns all things. John Carpenter as well. Excellent. All right. On a good note, we lost one legend, but another legend got a year older. So Happy birthday to William Shatner, who turned 95 years old on the 22nd. So 95 years old on Sunday. Very, very cool. Hopefully wishing William Shatner many more. A few years ago, William Shatner is on a rocket going to space. In January, he falls off a horse or something. You know, he has an accident where he fell off his horse. So, just not your typical 90-some-year-old by any stretch of the means. So, happy birthday to William Shatner. Live long, which he has already, and prosper, he has already. So, Bob Book says Chuck didn't die. The Reaper came for him, and Chuck laid such an arse whooping on that old Reaper that Chuck had to take his job. Death no longer comes as a hooded figure with Sith. Death now comes with an amazing beard and a karate kick to the head. Very nice. There were memes of him, Chuck Norris, carrying his own casket. It's just good tribute stuff. Al says any Friday the 13th movies make for good sleepover films. Absolutely. Stephanie says happy birthday, William. John says today is birthday for Steve McQueen, who starred in The Blob. Arlie Ermey, The Frighteners, Toy Story 1, 2, 3, Willard, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, the premiere of King Kong, the Full Metal Jacket, of course, and the premiere of King Kong, 1933, played at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Yeah, I saw Tom posting something like that on the ChillerNight Facebook group page today about King Kong. That's pretty cool. Patty says, first overnight, sidekick with Chuck Norris. Excellent. John says, when I was 13 years old, I spent the night with a friend in the Bay Area. Creature Features with Bob Wilkins was playing Dracula in 1931. Started watching the movie, eating popcorn. Then I started falling asleep. 11:30 p.m. My friend got so mad at me for falling asleep. Yeah, it's pretty early on a sleepover night. Best for overnights. Sidekicks. Roger says, hello everyone, good evening. Good evening, Roger. Thanks for joining us. Bonus says, thank you so much for the kind words, Miss Stephanie. You and the other ladies on here, Patsavan, Dee, and Ava, are undoubtedly the nicest women on the internet community. Thanks to all Ians. Yes. Paul says, The Fog and Escape from New York. Okay. Patty says, hate Dole Chucker. That's sidekicks. Okay. It's really, you're really giving it a workout there, aren't you? John says, when the devil learns that Chuck Norris has passed on, he canceled all of his plans for Armageddon and is now in peace talks with heaven. Deborah says, good evening, Chiller Thrillers. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining us. Bonus says, don't feel bad, Miss Petsavan. Spell checker is my mortal enemy. Now, I have a list. I have a list of 10 best horror movies for sleepover nights. And here we go. I'll go down the list. This is just a list. And some of these have been mentioned. But this is just to kick things off. And take that one down. Number 10. This is what's the source here? Reddit, I think. Looks like Reddit. All right, number 10 is Trick or Treat from 2007. The Descent from 2005. I'm just going to go quickly down the list here because a lot of these, some of them, you guys have mentioned already. Number 8, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll just throw any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies in there. Makes sense. 1984 or any of the ones in that franchise. The Ring, 2002. Jennifer's Body, 2009. I wouldn't have thought that as a sleepover movie, but a darkly comedic B-movie staple featuring a demon-possessed high schooler. All right, I've never seen that one, and it wouldn't have been one that I would have thought would have been in here. But that's The Descent. I didn't think that The Descent would be in here necessarily. I've seen that movie. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but what makes it a sleepover movie, I guess, in the eye of the beholder here, or at least the list writer, this particular list. Now this one makes a lot of sense. Friday the 13th, generic Jason movie poster, but this is the one I used to watch, the Friday the 13th, and I'd go to my friend's or cousin's house. I remember as a kid watching those. That was always fun. Number 4, The Cabin in the Woods. All right, so we've got the last 3 I will save until I check out the, let me get back to the comments here. Okay. Holy moly. All right. Karen Black movies, Paul says. Yep. Please don't let me forget to include Miss Glamfangs in that austere group of lovely ladies, Bonehead says. John says, what about Jeepers Creepers? What a scary movie. What a scary... Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Christian Marshall. Hey, Christian, thanks for joining us. Bold choice, Clueless. The acting is terrifying. Okay. Is that right? All right. To each his own. To each his own. John says, yes, Trick or Treat. So great. Yes. Patty says, Outer Limits, especially the Zanti Misfits. Outer Limits. Now that's cool. That's a neat idea. Going with like the series angle there. Red says, hello, good seeing you again. Hey, Red, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you joining in on us. Our topic tonight is best horror movies to play at a sleepover. Let's see. D says, you don't know me very well. Let's see. Was there a compliment there about her being nice? Is that it? D. Sorry, Miss D, just trying to be nice and not annoying and aggravating. Well, there was a wink there. I think she was just kidding. Linda Blair movies, Patty says. Yes, the original Scream movie. Okay, It. Now they're talking about the 2017 Scream. It movie. All right. The next one is The Craft from what, 93? 96. 96, The Craft. And then, and D got it here. Their number 1, at least for this particular list, is Scream, also from 1996. So there you go. That's somebody's list. A lot of you already got the same results there. John says a sleepover movie always has to have, most of the time, high school age kids running for their lives to escape the murder. I mean, I think that's perfect, for why stuff like Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street worked out so well for these type of things. And Scream. Now, that was a little, that wasn't one that I ever really got into that franchise. I saw the first one. I might have seen the second one. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I was more into the Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that when I was a kid. That the these other ones didn't come out yet. So Bob says, for me, what makes a great sleepover movie is something that scares the attendants so bad that they don't want to sleep. I might add that a great sleepover movie would be The Visit. The Visit. Ooh. Very cool. Some of you are giving your opinions as to your definitions as to what makes a good sleepover movie. So that's pretty cool. I'll take some of these down. I'll put up the main topic image again. And boom, there we go. Brad says, my wife and I performed at the Gliding Stars on Ice Skating show on Saturday, and it was awesome. How awesome! Oh, come on, Brad. Here we go. Even more awesome than when the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain this January. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Brad. Nice to see you on here again. And I hope you had a good time. Gliding Stars on Ice. Ice skating show. Interesting. Paul says, we all need to start up watch party movies again. I wish that they had the watch party movies. I don't know what happened to that feature on Facebook. I thought that was cool, pretty cool, because that was actually why, if I recall, we started the ChillerNight Facebook group page, was because of the watch parties. I thought that was a neat idea. I think we were doing them like every Thursday night or something like that. So Stephanie says, I've never seen Jeepers Creepers. My mom did, though, I have to admit. I think my mom doesn't want me to watch after apparently watching the ending of the movie. After apparently watching the ending of the movie. Oh, yeah? Oh, go on. Check it out. Check it out. You'll like it. Maybe. I don't know. Bonin says, the Blind Dead movies, maybe? Nightmare on Elm Street are good for sleepovers, I guess. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go to sleep. Kristen says, any movie that featured a TV with static I always found unsettling. Oh, the first thing I thought of was Poltergeist. They're here. Paul says, Halloween movie. Stephanie says, love the Wolfman tea, Brian. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dominic says, along with being awesome, be awesome and hit that like button. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Dominic, for once again reminding me to say that. So that is great that you remember that, because I jump right into the show and I should be saying that stuff. Yeah, hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button and the notifications. Here's another thing coming up. Speaking of YouTube channels, there will be a second YouTube channel that will be coming out soon, to be announced. And that will be the one that I'll probably have this show on that as well, like streamed on both channels. Probably eventually having this over on the other one, and then there will be some new content on there as well that I'm not able to monetize on the ChillerNight YouTube channel, because I'm not able to do the monetization of the channel. So unfortunately, because YouTube says that I'm not playing original content, which, all right, that's fair, because of the public domain movies that Jack Shadow is hosting. I didn't film that stuff, but for that reason, they said that I could not monetize the channel. So I will have another channel, and I will be cross promoting both of the channels, because in June coming up in June, on June 20th, will be the relaunch of ChillerNight Theater. Now remember, that's going to go from June 20th all the way up until Halloween night. That week, the week of June 20th, that's going to be a kind of a big week for me, for ChillerNight, and there's going to be a busy week that week with programming and content. So the other channel will be up at that time, and we'll see where we can go with all this. Well, like I said, that's to be announced actually the Monday of that week, which is I think the 15th of June. Let me look. Yeah, beginning on Monday, June 15th, we'll start dropping some content. So, and that'll be all week long. From Monday to Saturday, there will be something being posted. So, and that's going to continue right along for 20 weeks. So I'm working hard to get some stuff done because I've got another project that I'm working on that's running parallel with the new ChillerNight Theater episodes. So this is a busy year for Jack Shadow. I don't even know. I really don't even know if we're going to be doing the haunted house. That's how busy I am with this, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm not as concerned about it, just because the projects I'm working on right now are just a lot of fun, and I really enjoy them, and I really hope that I hope you guys enjoy them too. So we'll see. Good things going on. Let's see. If Brad makes the list, Dracula and Frankenstein are going to be on it? Probably, I guess. I think. I don't know. Yeah. And let's see how far. Okay, Paul says, can we start up the watch party movies again? Oh, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Jamie Lee Curtis, 1980 films, Terror Train, or Prom Night. There you go. Stephanie says, no argument in this corner, Bones. John says, oh my gosh, I forgot the old classic sleepover movie, filmed in Evans City, near us, 50 miles away or less. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Rest in peace, George Romero. Yes. The most classic sleepover movie, John says. Paul says, guys, I need to go help Mom get ready for bed. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Love you, family. All right, Paul, thanks for joining us. And you and your mom have a very good night. Brad says, it's an ice skating problem for people with physical and mental disabilities. Problem? It's an ice skating problem for people with physical and mental disabilities, like autism and Asperger's at Mercyhurst University Ice Center Arena. Sounds like a good cause. It's a wonderful program, Brad says. It sounds like it. Patty says, Evil Dead movies. Ah, there's some fun ones there. Bonin says, I love Godzilla and Gamera, but I don't get into Freddy, Jason, or the Creepers. But I do really like Michael Myers. Must be something wrong with me. Kristen says, maybe it's been covered by Crystal Lake is a Friday the 13th series coming later this year, I believe on Peacock. I did hear about that. Yeah, aren't they going back to kind of, it's a prequel, I believe, right? I mean, doesn't it go back to the days leading up to Jason drowning? I think so. I could be wrong, but I think I recall a trailer. But that's cool. Good information. Dominic says, the Blind Dead movies are awesome. And they're in the public domain? Because some of them are on YouTube. That doesn't mean that they're in the public domain, though, unfortunately. I don't ask me how these other channels get away with it, because man, I remember Carnival of Souls. I got tagged for the song that was playing on the radio in the car. That was just a couple seconds worth before they did their little drag race at the beginning of the movie. And the movie is public domain. You can play the movie with no problem. But because of that, I got kind of gigged for that one. So I don't know. I don't know how these other channels. You know, they don't have a problem letting me know. So I just want to. It is a pain. It is a pain. So, you know, just to avoid that in all its entirety, I'm going to start up a new channel and just put out some very entertaining content that will be coming up, that I don't have to worry about whether something's public domain or isn't, or, you know, a little segment of a radio song or something. I have some good ideas coming up for something like that channel. Dee says, I will never watch or support Jeepers Creepers 1 through 3 again. Writer-director was convicted of serious moral criminal charges. Oh, is that right? Well, then, I don't blame you there. Kristen says, maybe it's been covered, but Crystal... Oh, I read that. How am I going backwards? Which is not beyond the realm of possibilities, seeing as how I can only really look at one comment at a time. Again, if I'm missing your comment, there's nothing intentional about it. The way this is set up here tonight, the way I click it the exact same way I did it last week, but I can only see, I can see 2 comments as long as the comments are thin. Wouldn't that be awesome? And then Bonehead says, but not as awesome as Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain, Brad, LOL. I'm with Brad and Bones here, y'all. Let's see. Brad says program. Okay. Program, not problem, I think, is what, yeah, I was reading that and I'm like, is that? All right. So, well, that makes sense. Makes more sense there. John says, this show is so great. Ah, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Oh, and ChillerNight, the store, will be closed this Saturday. Now, lately, I've just been having the store open by appointment only. Actually, I'm going to block out all options of booking it for this Saturday, because I'll actually be in there working on something else involving one of the projects I'm working on. So I just thought I'd let you know. Then it says Dominic and the Blind Dead movies are on YouTube under Portuguese horror playlist. Oh, Dominic, all the Blind Dead movies. I see. John says, yes, Evil Dead movies. Absolutely, yes. Jason says, hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. Good evening, last night of Cornhole. I'll be back now until the fall. Oh, very cool. But nice to be with you, my fellow ghouls. Nice to have you with us. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Jason. Last night of Cornhole. Well, I hope you had a good, fun season at that. Stephanie says, don't worry, Bones, you're fine. By the way, guys, have you watched Zombies? I have not. I have not. Watch that. Patty says, double feature overnight movies, The Thing from Another World and Carpenter's The Thing. Oh, that's a neat idea. Yeah. Bennett says, what's Zombies, Miss Stephanie? A zoo full of zombie animals? Sounds interesting. Zombies. Bob says, there's a lot to be said for the entire Conjuring movies for sleepovers. Those are great spooky movies. Conjuring. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. My mind went blank there for an instant. I don't know how, because those are a pretty popular franchise. Patty says, saw a water globe for sale recently with a chain Jason floating in the water. That's cool. I've seen those even as like aquarium ornaments. You know, with Jason with the chain holding them down in the water. Kristen says, Crystal Lake stars Linda Cardinelli. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Cardinelli as Pamela Voorhees and focuses on her losing Jason. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do recall seeing a trailer. I was hoping I was remembering that right. That's cool. That's neat. And you said, I think earlier, it's going to be on Peacock. I wonder where that's coming. Maybe you said that, and I don't remember. Let's see. Brad says, I wish NBC's Peacock would live stream ChillerNight Theater that Saturday and every week until Halloween. Wouldn't that be awesome? It would be awesome. I was waiting for a segue into something else. Yeah. John says, yes, The Thing, 1982. Absolutely. But it says, great double feature, Miss Pat's Van. I usually watch them back to back like that. That is a neat idea. Jason says, have you seen Barbarian? Came out a few years ago. I have not. I have not seen that. Anybody else see that one? Christian says, okay, late 2026. So later on, late at the end of this year, we're going to be seeing Crystal Lake. That's pretty neat. Stephanie says, best triple feature, The Thing from Another World, Forbidden Planet, and Night of the Living Dead. Got up too early this morning, I think. Or The Creeping Unknown. The Creeping Unknown, okay. All right. Hey, I am all caught up on the comments. That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, so let me throw this out there real quick. Brad says, but we still have our trusted old Stream TV. Yes, we still have Stream TV. Okay, and speaking of Stream TV, perfect little segue there for me. Thank you, Brad. Watch ChillerNight Theater every Saturday, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Stream TV. You can watch that at streammedia.tv. So go there, check it out. Check it out. I think you'll, I don't know, I'm pretty excited about the new episodes coming up. There is so much going on right now, and as it gets a little closer, maybe within 2 weeks of launching stuff, I can say a little bit more. But I don't know. I'm excited. I think you guys are gonna really enjoy, you know, what I'm putting together. I hope that maybe some of you have missed Jack Shadow and are waiting to see Jack Shadow again. So you're gonna see a lot of Jack Shadow this year. So even if I do the haunted house or not, so just sit back and enjoy. And I really hope that you'll be entertained. Let's see, what have I? Oh, and you know what? Tonight's topic was best horror movies for sleepover nights. All right. The now next week we already have the next 2 weeks that were mentioned by SBC. Picked the next 2 topics. Next week will be Western horror movies. Remember that? That was the topic for next week. And then the week after that, he's already got April 7th figured out. Big Bug horror movies. So, all right, you guys pick the topics and we will make a show out of it. That's what's going to happen. Again, next week, Western horror movies. And the week after that, on April 7th, will be Big Bug horror movies. So, let's see. Jason says, I watched Night of the Living Dead 3D with Sid Haig. Good movie. You know, I've started watching that, and something has always come up to where I never got, I don't think I've ever got through that. I've probably made it about a third of the way through. That my second attempt to watch it. Again, I get on, I just get pulled away from the TV, but I did start watching that. But you liked it. Good movie. Anybody else see the Night of Living Dead 3D with Sid Haig? John says, good night, everyone. Have to wake up early. Love the show. All right, good night, John. Thanks for joining us. I think I got up a little too early for some reason. Brad says, and you better give Stream TV the bug in the ear to bring Stream TV back to Roku, Brian. All right, I'll do that. I'll see what, I might mention that. Christian says, she was on Freaks and Geeks, Velma and Scooby-Doo, Clint Barton, Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers. Oh, the lady's going to play Miss Voorhees, Jason's mom, huh? That's kind of cool. But it says, speaking of bug in the ear, the Caterpillar episode from Night Gallery, good one to watch. You know, I was going to watch an episode of the Night Gallery, and I went to on Roku. I was searching for it on Roku, and that is, you got to pay per episode. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. What? So I was all set. I was gonna start the Night Gallery. Maybe they're on YouTube. I didn't even think about that. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that I don't know how, but let's see. Jason says the Barbarian started with two strangers double booking an Airbnb. Excellent movie. The Barbarian, huh? I've never seen that one. Interesting. But it says, I like that big bug photo, Brian. Now that's awesome. All right, thank you. Thank you. Ravencroft says, hey, Brian and all. Hey, Ravencroft, 82. Thanks for joining us. Stephanie says, take care, John. But not as awesome as Godzilla or Gamera movie. Oh, there's a spin on the awesomeness from Bonehead. Godzilla or Gamera movies. Those are awesome. D says, Plan 9 from Outer Space and House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, are great cozy movies to wind down at a slumber party. There you go. Milo says, It. You're right. Yeah, right. We had that one on the list. Very good, Milo. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yes. Bonin says, no SBC this week. Tom Paisley ain't here either. Miss them guys. I do. Yeah, that's right. SBC. And I hope he's here the next couple weeks, because he's the one who picked our topics for the next 2 weeks coming up. How are the tapings of ChillerNight Theater coming along, Brian? Well, the actual taping is that'll be that's actually what's going on Saturday. The way I'm not going to have the store open, so because we'll be in Jack's set. There was a lot going on before, not with ChillerNight Theater necessarily, but with the other parallel project I have going on with that. I don't know how else to describe that, but now I'll be taping Saturday. See how many, see how much I can get done Saturday. So with Stream TV, we will see. The only and then Ravencroft said the only sleepover nights I really had when I was a kid, or when my friend and I tried to stay up for the whole Jerry Lewis telethon. Oh, okay, I remember those. Yeah, Lena Marie Ruffing. Am I seeing an no, Ruffing. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Lena. My friend thought Amityville was scary and always made us watch that movie if we stayed over. I didn't think it was. Maybe I should watch it again in my adult life, LOL. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. You never know. You see things through a different set of eyes. Lena says, I always thought Friday the 13th or Child's Play were good for sleepovers. Yeah, we have Friday the 13th movies listed on our list we went down through tonight, but there was a ton of movies that were mentioned here tonight. That's really cool. Yeah, all of these are pretty neat choices. Let's see. Patty says, the closest I got to sleepover movies when I went home to the 24-hour movie marathons, President's Weekend in Massachusetts. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'm thinking back. When I'd go to like one of my cousins' houses. My family is very close, and so like my first cousins were like Sean and Jim were as close. Like I have two brothers, Bob and Troy, and then Sean and Jim were my cousins, or are my cousins. So, but I mean, when we were little kids, just to go over to each other's houses and spend the night and stay up all night watching scary movies. That was so fun. So this is a fun topic for tonight, and I appreciate Stephanie coming up with it. I can tell that a lot of people, a lot of people participated. So I can only imagine you're drawing from your memories on some very fun, frightening nights as kids. Fred says, "Wait, you now have more room for ChillerNight Theater stage setting, don't you, Brian?" I have a lot of room. Yeah, I do. I do have a lot of room, yep. Ravencroft says, did anyone else have a local horror host? We had several back in the day. Well, I had Chili Billy, Bill Cardell from Pittsburgh. Don't know where everyone's from here, but I know for me, and Bonehead grew up in the area, I believe, watching Chili Billy. That was on in the early 60s until the New Year's Eve, January 31st from 1983 into New Year's Day 1984. So that was a very long-lasting show. It was on for like 20 years. And it was very popular back in the day. So that was my local horror host. And Bonet says, thanks again to Brian and the ChillerNight crew. It's helped me with dealing with this migraine tonight. Sorry if I was obnoxious. I'm not only in pain, I am a pain. Well, you're very welcome. And man, I really hope that this is a quick fix for you, Bonehead. Let's see. Jason says, did USA Up All Night play horror movies? Who was the other USA movie host? USA Commander or Captain U? Commander USA, was that it? Commander USA? The guy with a cigar and yeah, I used to watch him. He was funny. Stephanie says, my mom met one horror host called the Cool Ghoul. Okay, I've heard of the Cool Ghoul. Dominic says, one time my dad and I did Outer Limits Marathon. That was pretty cool series. Oh, that's neat. Jason says, ChillerNight and Chiller Theater were great sleepover venues. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's right, Jason. Yeah, you watched Chiller Theater too. That was I don't know. Like Ava's a bit too young, so I know she wouldn't. But I don't know. I don't know if maybe you were too young too. But if you're within her age range, but that was such a popular show, Chiller Theater, and I just remember that being that was a time when the whole family just sat down, and I remember Mom would make us some snacks, some treats, either pizza or popcorn or something, and that was such a fun time. And most of the time, I guess, if not all the time, my dad and I were the only ones that finished staying up. the whole time. So that was just fun time. I still talk about that to him. Um, Chilly Billy and Mystery Science Theater 3000 bonnet says, D says, around October in the Moonlight Drive-In used to do an all-night horror movie marathon in Brookville. It was great. I don't know if they do it any longer. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be neat. Bonnet says, yes, sir, I sure did, Brian. Chiller Theater was legendary. Yes, it was. Patty says, do you mean Zachary the Cool Ghoul? Yeah, I bet so. Patty. Stephanie says, no, you're not Bones, but get well. Brad says, and this is Chilly Billy's legacy, ChillerNight Theater, isn't it, Brian? I like to think so. I like to think so. Yeah, we changed the name from Sleepy Hollow Theater to ChillerNight Theater the night that Chilly Billy was on. And that was all set up, and it was arranged with him. And I checked with him, you know, just as a courtesy, of course. You know, said, hey, I have this idea. I went you know, at his house, showing him the logos and stuff, and we were talking about it. And he's very supportive of what I was doing. And so the night that he was a guest on the show, and he was going to be a guest on a line of shows, like a line of episodes, like 10 more after that. And we were gonna film them all in one day, and then chop them up. But yeah, I kind of trailed off there, didn't I? But I get like that when I start remembering the good old days. Commander USA, Legion of Decency, retired. Okay. Ravencroft says, D says Svengoolie. Oh, there you go. He's on now. Svengoolie. Oh, well, the original Svengoolie. And then there's the Svengoolie now, who was the son of Svengoolie for a while. And that was another thing Chilly Billy Cardell even told me. He says, you could have called your show Son of Chiller, or Son of Chiller Theater. And I just like, wow. That's like really awesome. I went with ChillerNight just as a homage, but I mean, that's just so cool that he had a little bit of involvement there and showed his support. So I will always remember that. But it says, I still remember the night Chiller Theater played Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and the Deadly Mantis. That's pretty cool. D says, Chilly Billy Theater was great memories. It was a family event. We'd house hop from one family member's house to another until we landed at one's house to crash and sleep for the night. Yes, those were the days. Patty says, gotta go, stay safe all. All right, Patty, thanks for joining us tonight. Ravencroft says, we had a couple variations of creature features. That's pretty cool. Stephanie says, not really. He was in Cincinnati, Ohio, played by Dick Von Hohen. I found his grave spot. Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool. Dominic says, Brian, you're really teasing us with this new project you have brewing. Can't wait. Yeah. It's just fun. It's just really, really, I think it's so cool. But it says, thank yous all again for a great show. Please say hello to Miss Glamfangs and best wishes to all yous. Yes, yes, Miss Glamfangs. If you are watching this at a later time, hello, and we do miss you. And you never know. Maybe one of these times, maybe we'll do something on a Saturday night. I can't commit to that right now, you know. But you never know. You never know. D says, what an honor. Yeah, it absolutely was. Bob says, those little vacations I got on the weekends with my horror heroes really got me through some tough times as a kid. Yeah. Fun times. Bob, I know there's a delay here. If you're on here right now, just know I am going to be filming the first set of ChillerNight Theaters this week, this Saturday, and I will get with you when we'll be having episodes with the additional characters in it. So that will be coming up sooner than later. So just letting you know. Bonus says, anyone else here have pizza rolls watching Chiller Theater? I didn't. We had the whole pizza. My mom would make those Chef Boyardee pizzas, you know, and that was just, I have such distinct memories of that stuff. That was so cool. John says, and for your entertainment, you have been watching and participating in Chiller Night Live with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you that tomorrow is the official start of baseball season for 2026. Ah, very cool. Until next week, stay chilled and stay chilled for tomorrow. Play ball. All right. Yes. Thank you, John. Much appreciated. Bob says, yay. Brad says, good night, everyone. Stephanie says, take care, Brad. In fact, take care, all you, and see you next week. Oh, we are coming up on. D says, Bryan, you seem happier and invigorated. Good to see. Yeah, I am. Yes. Thank you. Next week, again, Western horror movies will be our theme. Western horror movies. And then we already got one for the 7th of April. Big Bug horror movies. So, and again, thanks again to Stephanie for tonight's topic, best horror movies for sleepover night. That was pretty fun. We had a good time tonight. And appreciate everyone joining myself and each other for another night of Chiller Night Live. Ravencroft says, good night all. Hope to see you next week. Bonus says, to quote the immortal Dave Allen, good night. Thank you, and may your God go with you. Absolutely. I used to watch him all the time. Al says, in New York, we had Chiller Theater during the 70s with the six-fingered hand coming out of the quicksand. Yeah, yep, a different Chiller Theater, but yeah, that was... I like that, the look of that. That looked creepy. Jason says, thank you, Bryan, for continuing to do this hour of escapism for us every week. Much appreciated. Thank you, Jason. I do appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys. John says, maybe you are the next Bob Wilkins. You never know. You never know. Maybe Jack will be. Stephanie says, you're welcome. Good night, everyone. Night, y'all. D says, yes, thank you for joining me and each other for another night of Chiller Night Live. And have a good night. Have a good Chiller Night. We'll see you next week. So don't forget, next week's topic, Western horror movies. All right. Everybody have a good week. We'll see ya.